Hey, how you guys doing today? We're live with our seventh Upstream cast. Just here to keep the consistency for you guys who are really enjoying it thus far. I'm here with Alex and Jubei. How are you both doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Extra happy today because the Mets won. So
So have you been celebrating at all, or you just been kind of cheering on the inside?
cheering on the inside. If you're a Mets fan, you always cheer on the inside.
Never make it too public.
Yes.
So I don't know. We're looking at a week back now. What was the big news? I think John Chen appointed a COO. What do you guys have to say about that? I thought it was a pretty interesting, timely move on his part.
Well, you
Yeah,
definitely covered some of this territory over in the Conduit show. I thought it was great timing. I think that he's going to alleviate some of the additional duties that Chen was kind of spreading himself thin out on, and coming this new end of the year, fall, and new year with all the new products and services BlackBerry is going to be launching, seems like it's a great time to install and have the management base there and prepare for all the new stuff that's going to be coming their way. And it's just smart all around. The guy buys into the direction that BlackBerry is going. He wants to be part of the team. They're familiar with each other already. Great all
yeah.
around.
China's definitely hiring some good people. When I read this initially, I kept reading it over and over as Marty Malik, and I was so confused, like how he worked his way up to that or what was even going on with him. But I did a little bit of research, and Marty Beard seems pretty fit for the job at hand. So
Yeah, Ronell in our group was like, "It's Marty Malik's beard."
yeah,
But no, actually, that's not the case. No, I'm excited. Chen's brought in just another management layer. It seems to be a smart choice. The guy can't run around and do everything.
Yeah.
He's got to disseminate some of that duty out, and I'm glad he's brought someone that he obviously trusted. This guy just left a CEO position at a startup over in California, I believe, for this. So
yeah,
definitely interesting overall that he's like, this Internet of Things vision that BlackBerry has going right now is
Right.
money. Period. This is an opportunity. I can't say no.
Yeah, I think the strength and the direction that BlackBerry's going in was a sell in itself for Marty. And also with Chen, it did seem like he was running around almost doing everything. I mean, the guy was everywhere. He's traveling everywhere. He's making appearances everywhere. He's addressing so many people. It's just great to have another person on board that can alleviate some of that and just really focus on what needs to be focused on and allow Chen to do what he does best.
yeah, absolutely.
So CIO actually did an article shortly after the appointment of this COO, and it was, it was essentially talking about a BYD, a BYOD, a Bring Your Own Device revolt over at one New York, I believe it was like a law firm or something like that. So interestingly enough, they were all clamoring for their old Blackberries back. They didn't like the privacy and the security aspects that they were getting with the iOS and Android devices that they had there. And a lot of them were just like, give me the BlackBerry, it works. It's just a business tool. It gives me the privacy and gives me the separation that I need. Now, how does that BYOD trend and people kind of maybe wanting their Blackberries back pay into things like the Passport and Classic that are upcoming BlackBerry 10 devices? Alex, what do you think?
It's definitely going to be a difficult sell. If anyone actually used BlackBerry 10 full out, I think they can kind of realize, hey, I can use this. I don't need two phones. But for the people who are so used to having the iPhone and all of those apps and everything like that, I think the Passport is the device that will eliminate the two phone need if people are dedicated enough. I think you have to be a businessy person, not care as much about the apps. Um, in order to replace it all. But I was talking to my stepdad, and I was like, finally people are caring about security, and they're revolted. He's like, I called it. He's like, people are going to start caring about security, and that's where the big gap is going to, change. But I think this, I think there are other companies also, people feeling this, whether they don't want to speak up. I think that's kind of a big thing because, I really can't imagine anyone wanting to speak up, seeing as how much hate's going on for BlackBerry right now. But this is definitely not an exception to the rule. This is just a vocal one. But I think it's kind of sad that did any of the news even report this at all, or was it more of just like a few of the major BlackBerry sites talking about it?
A couple people picked it up. CIO, the website in general, is mainly aimed at that kind of demographic,
Okay.
the ones who are going to be managing those corporate infrastructure. So it definitely hit a key target market. I think actually the blogs posting it was a little bit superfluous to that actual focus, but still good to see it. At least that there are more telling signs of things to come. I think Cope, corporate owned. Corporately owned purchased equipment is going to be important in the future as we look against the BYOD and the trends that are already out there. Just recently as well, when we're talking about applications, BlackBerry and Sector seem to have come together with OpenLive to create a bigger plethora of Android and iOS applications that work in the BlackBerry secure workspace. So overall, just pretty interesting to see that they are kind of going all fronts and not even solely focusing on just their native efforts. They're pretty dedicated to cross-platform at this point, and I think it's a pretty interesting topic point. What do you guys think, Jubei?
I applaud CIO for publishing that story because I think it's a lot more common than people are led to believe. And what goes behind back doors, so to speak, is the frustration of the fragmentation between all these different devices in the IT departments. And in that article that was published, he mentions the frustrations and how they'll get certain features with one device, and then they'll switch over to another, and then they'll lose other features, and he just couldn't cohesively get a complete overall experience that they were comfortable and enjoyed using. That was simple for the IT department to just dish out. And it's great that the name that they thought of was BlackBerry, because BlackBerry's always been that's where the branding comes from. That's where their identification comes from. And it was an enjoyable article just to see that BlackBerry still has that core value that everyone needs. The world needs a company like BlackBerry. And slowly the media is starting to understand, as the new wave of devices and services are going to be rolling out in the fall. That's going to be something that's going to be understood as like, what, this is a company that we looked down and we trashed on in the last couple of years, but the reality is we need them, and they provide something that no one else does. And that's why the title, "We Want Our Blackberries Back," it's a declaration of we want what worked before. The idea of, if it's not broken, don't try to fix it. But we all know where BYOD came from. It was just the popularity of consumer devices, and people just wanted one device. And enterprise and the regulated segments were trying to meet that demand. And in the midst of that, we got where we are now, all these security breaches and all the fragmentation and nightmare situations with IT departments. So great that it was published. I think that a lot of people can sympathize with that, and I think we're going to be hearing a lot more about this kind of momentum moving forward.
I think
in favor of BlackBerry.
Yeah, there's a lot of bias for a while in the IT department. A lot of my friends who work in IT, they're very pro Android, and they kind of push it everywhere. And for instance, I brought this up a while ago. My uncle, he wanted to use a BlackBerry 10 device, but the IT department was saying, no, we're only supporting Android and iOS. And at the end of the day, that was really the bias of the IT department saying what should be used, or they'll even make up excuses. For instance, my buddy, he actually didn't want to switch over the email system from Microsoft Outlook, I can't think of what it's actually called, over to Google Apps for Business. So he actually told the president of the company or the CEO, he's like, the passwords aren't as secure. It's you don't get to set up as many, like, must have X amount of numbers or have an uppercase and lowercase. You didn't have that functionality, so he said it was less secure, and therefore they didn't go for it, even though it made sense, monetarily. It was cheaper month to month for them to switch over, but he had the ultimate decision because he was able to put it in a light that's totally BS, but it was convenient for him. He didn't have to do the migration. It's just ridiculous.
Did he ever have to defend why they just completely pulled the plug on the whole Knox as
right? And what a backtrack it is.
Yeah. How much money did they invest in the development of that and the marketing of that, and just cut it flat cold turkey.
The thing is, like, everybody in this space has a work container. It's the only way you can secure those devices. I think what BlackBerry offers is the BES infrastructure to support both of those. You know, the corporate and the personal and corporate lifestyles on one device, not just, you know, put a partition onto your iPhone or put a partition onto your Android. I think like two operating systems in a sense is better than one, and I think QNX has the, you know, the power to leverage that in a way really you can't on iOS and Android. Now, as we look forward, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to even see the power of the QNX just in the infotainment system in cars, just the adaptability of you know, the flexibility and how nimble it is to work with anything. So,
and you're absolutely right.
And really disputed.
As you said before, you know, we need BlackBerry in a sense that we don't want to admit, but we do. Look at Apple and iOS, or Apple and iOS, Apple and Android utilizing QNX for their leverage point into the car. It's like BlackBerry is here; they have their function, and I think they're going to be expanding on that a lot more. I definitely think we're on the upswing here with Chen kind of piloting the ship right now, so to speak.
Yeah, Marty Beard started.
Alex, we recently had an update in the BlackBerry vendor portal. Have you checked out the new portal? What do you like? What don't you like?
Can you lock it on my screen? I have it pulled up. I could show it off a little bit.
Absolutely. Hey, look,
Okay.
the BerryFlow application.
Yeah, so this is the old BerryFlow app, which we will get to this later, and all this other junk, ignore that. So pretty much on the left side, as you can see, there's promotions here, which will be cool once it's like more up and functional, once you have more functionality with it. But so within the app, it's just more clean overall. It lets you know right here how many downloads you got for that day. You could check out your releases, and then like reviews is a little bit cleaner now. So it just, rather than giving the little, you know, spiel of what they said underneath it, you actually click to get that information, so you can see a lot more quickly. You can see some bad stars or whatever. And then if you do the purchases, it actually shows you what section was sold on what days, and it's kind of pretty cool. You can check, you know, this section is sold $2.13 for this day, and it lets you know how much money you sold for that day, and you could get a lot more analytical with it.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
For, like, what apps.
If you're running a promotion or something, you can actually see kind of whether that promotion was successful or not, or what you could change, and get, like you said, a lot of good information from it.
Yeah, to break it down a little bit, before they showed you for purchases, it would just show you all of them merged together. So I didn't know how many purchases were HTML5 resources, CSS3, or JavaScript. I would actually have to download the full report and then go through there, whereas this gives you a quick little graph, and they're definitely making it a lot more user-friendly. I think it's also responsive. Not really, but I think there's a mobile version, but ignore me. So.
That's pretty cool. It's interesting, the whole user interface and the design aesthetic that they took forward looks a hell of a lot like what Alex Saunders was showing off at that QNX.
I was going to mention that.
It looks very, very clean, very simplistic, easy to use and understand. I love that I've seen the old vendor portal, and it is light years behind.
It was bad. Yeah.
Light years behind this. I mean, this looks gorgeous.
People would appreciate simply the drag and drop, because it was a pain to add stuff before. You would have to. I actually removed 45 screenshots just to change the front image here, whereas now I can just upload one and drag it to the top left. So before it wasn't user friendly at all. That's awful. This is definitely a welcomed.
So here's a little bit of a segue while we are looking at the vendor portal here. Yahoo actually bought the advertising company that BlackBerry is working with to power mobile ads. Is that correct? Flurry Analytics?
I don't know too much about that, actually.
So you haven't used any kind of their marketing APIs, their advertising APIs, have you?
No, I've heard a lot about it not being totally worthwhile, because that's based almost entirely off how many downloads, how many sheer downloads and usage that you get out of it. Mm-hmm. Whereas like the download numbers for BlackBerry 10 aren't as high as, say, like Android or iOS. So if you're able to get like 0.001 cent per click or whatever, or per impression for an advertisement, the numbers just don't add up. So most people, you'll see on BlackBerry 10, people that are advertising within their app, they're actually advertising their other apps within their app, because it just makes more sense.
Inter-app advertising.
Yeah, it's just simply the numbers aren't totally there.
It kind of makes sense, though, to drive traffic to your other resources. I mean,
yeah.
Now, I'm looking at this. It looks so much cleaner than what they had before, and I love how they segment the OSs, and all of it's looking really nice.
Yeah. It's just
So
more clean, and yeah, that's pretty much all. You can take it off me now. Get it off.
get it off, get it off.
I do not dabble in it, but looks very streamlined and looks like they eliminated a lot of annoying steps and kept it where it needs to be.
It's like
Absolutely.
their old one was like in like I don't know, it looked like it was something from like 2007. Like it was pretty bad. It's
No
pretty
Sure,
offense
bad.
that's
to
age.
2007. You were a cool year and all.
Hey, BlackBerry was cool until like 2010, so they were rocking it back then on Java with BBOS.
Yeah.
What's interesting, like as I said, Yahoo has bought Flurry Analytics, who's behind some of the analytic programs and systems in BlackBerry. So you wonder if there's further integration beyond just the BlackBerry partnership on the back end. Maybe if they're going to take that somewhere else for analytics of different app resources in the cloud. You think QNX cloud, infotainment applications, etc. Being able to manage and get analytics on all those resources as well.
CEO, Yahoo CEO Marissa, man, she's just been on a spending spree since becoming CEO, and it's almost like everyone's just waiting. What's the next thing Yahoo's gonna buy? I mean,
It's a
she
big
made a
joke around.
statement that said that Yahoo is now a mobile-first company.
So did Facebook, so did BlackBerry. Who isn't a mobile-first company? We live in the age of mobile.
Right.
Thank you for getting it, Marissa.
In other news, grass is green. So, as far as Yahoo buying it, Yahoo's going to do what they do. I think they still have identity issues.
Pot calling the kettle black on a BlackBerry podcast.
So I saw, I heard of the acquisition. Between 200, 300 million. No one really knows the exact number they purchased it for. Yeah, it is what it is. We won't know until a lot further down the line.
Yeah, are they trying to be like a competitor to Google or to Facebook, or like what are they even trying to do? They're buying up everything under the sun, and like Silicon Valley, the biggest joke now is just, who's Yahoo gonna buy next? Because they're just on this big, like you mentioned, it's just ridiculous.
And
But
I don't know, they haven't really communicated what their end game is. It just seems like that Facebook thing where they're buying everyone, all their competitors or whatever is relevant around them just for them to stay relevant.
yeah,
And, you're treading water. You're not going anywhere.
yeah,
No.
So
big company.
before we transition off here, I do want to bring in mention of the new update for the BerryFlow application in beta zone. Jeremy Duke's been working a lot on that application. I mean, he was working on it on his birthday, which is beyond me. But yeah,
He loves you, James. He loves you.
I think so. I feel so
You should be privileged.
blessed. Yes, to be
I
privileged.
looked at that app. I looked at that beta app, and it's absolutely beautiful. So well done.
People are like,
Very
can
well
I can I get it in BlackBerry world already? Like, I want to share it to my friends, but I don't want them to have to install beta zone. I'm like, beta zone's such a seamless process as is. I mean, just go.
Yeah, Jeremy
register.
said it was going to be soon, though. I think he said he was planning within the next update just to throw it on over there. It's getting to the point where it's pretty feature rich, and I think it shouldn't really be beta anymore. So
Yeah, it's really not beta at this point,
yeah,
Well,
even on one of the first updates for it, it had come so far already from beta applications that we see that don't even do half of the things that they're actually trying to get toward. So definitely appreciate it. I mean, we just passed, I think, 10,000 registered testers for the application. So the momentum is there. Our emails
doesn't
get slammed.
surprise me. Phenomenal job Jeremy has done. It looks better than anything that I have yet to see on any as far as like covering BlackBerry news. There's nothing else like it. So all you guys watching, stay tuned or just wait for that launch. That BerryFlow app is the one you want, for sure.
That'll be on our marketing slogan in BlackBerry world.
yeah.
With a quote from you as a testimonial. It's like the one you want, BerryFlow.
The one you want.
Which I don't know if he wants to talk about any features or anything like that, but just let you know that some of the stuff he did, for instance, like how comments work, are pretty cool. Like, it's not the normal way that you'd think. It works better though. It's more user friendly, and you're gonna love it. So
It's pretty nice. He did a lot of like tiny refinements that I just like blow my mind. You've got your profile little user ID thing in there, and it's like it's totally totally beyond like the scope of what I really wanted from the app, but it's so great to have it there. Commenting is awesome, like as Alex had said. You can
I wanted to point out
the
something
BerryFlow logo at the top.
really important. This is a completely ad-free application, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah,
You're not going to get any noisy apps or any things in your face. It's just the content you want, when you want it, how you want it. Done.
He said to tease it a little bit more. Not going to tell you exactly what happens, but the way it does something unique compared to any other blogging or like app for a blog out there. For instance, say that someone shares a link with you, and I'll leave it at that because I don't want to get too in detail, but it does some pretty cool stuff. You'll see.
This is such a teaser, man.
Yeah,
I don't even
know
what they're talking about at this point. This app sounds great. Who developed it? Just kidding. Jeremy's freaking awesome, and he's put so much time into the application, putting it in beta zone, keeping it updated, and mega thanks goes out to you, Jeremy. I know you couldn't be here tonight, but we definitely appreciate all the work being done. I know people are really gonna like it when it hits BlackBerry World. So speaking of the application, if you scroll a couple articles back in the application, you'll see a post that was done in regards to BES 10 hosting support, which is just coming to BlackBerry. They're essentially taking their BES infrastructure, and instead of having on-site servers, passing it off to third parties to actually manage those servers for you. So you just tap into the console and you're able to manage the devices. They have a bunch of partners that they're doing this with, and I love that the announcement is timely in a sense that you could call right now and set up BES 10 hosting for your business. Did you guys happen to read any of the press release news on it?
Alex?
Yeah, I didn't read much on it, but the way that you're saying that, it makes it sound like, isn't that what BES 12 is essentially supposed to be? Like not internal. But like everything's not internal.
BES 12 will be like BES 10. It's for corporately owned servers that your IT department installs onto your servers. BES 10 hosted is someone else's servers.
Okay.
They're installing, managing the updates, etc. But you can tap into that. Now, BES 10 Cloud is BlackBerry hosted cloud BES services. So they've got 3 prongs for you to, stake yourself on BES 10 with.
You have no excuse not to have a secure MDM solutions for your business. I did read a little bit on it. Again, they're doing all the efficient moves that's necessary. I know that back in their heyday, just a few years ago, they did boast a number of servers. BlackBerry, they had an impressive amount of servers in which a lot of people were running their MDM, thing going on, and they cut down. And I think this move is great because it doesn't put BlackBerry in that position where they have to invest in installing and you know what I mean. Just they're spreading themselves out in the most efficient way possible. There's no excuse. Access is available to anyone, anywhere. They got great partnerships, great relationships. It's another healthy maneuver.
Yeah, I can definitely tell you for smaller companies, for instance, like us, we are using Google Apps for Business at the moment for MDM and email and everything. And we would never be able to go over to BES 10 because we don't need an internal server. We don't have all that, but it would be cool to have that. So having this hosted option, it sounds like a more feasible thing for smaller companies, even though that's not entirely BlackBerry's focus. They're more on like larger corporate. But I think this is a good move in the right direction, definitely.
Now, if James, you would know this would I would imagine keep costs down for businesses too, who want those services, but can't afford actual physical servers or what have you. Getting a host.
It puts it a lot closer to people. Absolutely, I think even from a consumer sense, if you could go off to a partner and go get this for maybe your home business or small business. It's not so far away that you have to be at the scale where you're managing your own, data infrastructure and security and all that. I absolutely think it will bring things closer. Overall, you got to think about BES and especially their play with the enterprise. It's as privacy and security become more prolific in our day-to-day, they're gonna have to find a way to leverage this on a more consumer scale. You know, it's
Yeah.
going to become a necessity where we need security and we need management for our devices. It's going to come one way or another, be it through other parties or BlackBerry. We're going to need that for some of these connected devices to come. I mean, how do you think you're going to manage the applications in your smart home? You know, you're going to manage it on your mobile through a cloud backend, and that cloud backend needs to be secure. So overall, I think what they can accomplish, you know, with Project Ion and with the BES 10 hosted and, you know, things to come, it definitely brings it closer to a lot more industries, and a lot more of those industries are prevailingly consumer focused. I mean, Internet of Things is only maybe a third or a fourth, you know, aimed directly at enterprise. It's such a massive industry.
Well, prosumers everywhere should be celebrating. This is the way to get what they want and what they require without, you know, on a smaller scale.
Absolutely.
What's the next thing?
Well, I did want to mention as well, when we're talking about this BES 10 hosted, one of their partners for BES 10 hosted is IBM. So while everyone, you
Yeah.
know, Apple IBM alliance, I mean, yeah, they're working on a little something, but it's not here yet. For one, two, I could call IBM right now and get something for my business, you know.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting overall that, you know, they have working with IBM. The deal is already signed, set, sealed, and ready to go. And they're essentially handling the EMEA region, so Europe, you know, Africa, Middle East, etc.
You know,
So,
we covered it a little bit in the Conduit episode 3, where IBM is really looking out for themselves, what's good for their business,
mhm.
and how the partnership between Apple and IBM is probably, you know, the two different visions. Not sure if the long-term partnership is going to work out, but IBM is definitely taking the steps it needs to, you know, stay relevant and to do good business with everyone they can. And it's not surprising that IBM and BlackBerry would, you know, work together to have this, you know, deal set up where they help host BES 10.
You think that's something that could expand in the future, or do you think it's going to kind of stick strictly to this BES hosting? Do you think we could see something else?
Business. IBM is going to go where the money is.
You know where the money? You know where the money is, Jubei? Alex, take it over. Show them where the money is. Show them where the money is.
Alex.
It's locked. It's locked on you. It's locked on you.
Okay. Do you guys see? Yeah, the white. Do you guys see that or no?
Yeah.
Nope. I see.
Okay.
There we go. There we go.
So there are a few things to touch on this. Obviously, BlackBerry confirmed. I think they kind of mentioned in their blog that Blaze leaked it a little bit earlier, and they wanted to be the first ones to leak it. But here's the white BlackBerry Passport, and there are a few things that you can notice here. I think this is what the newer 10.3 is going to look like. A lot of people were like, is there going to be an exclusive? You can see down here it's white. It's normally black if on your current phone right now.
Right.
People are wondering if that's going to be a white exclusive. Like if you have the white Passport, will that be white? And if you have a black phone, will it be black? I mean, it could be. And then you can also notice that there are little icons here next to it. So right now there aren't icons next to it. It just has like the name. So I think these are just little refinements of 10.3. They're just giving you a nice little glimpse of what's to come. Oh, of course they have the Amazon App Store running right there. That's kind of funny. But yeah, if you guys have anything else to say about this. What is
As
James?
far as like just the white passport.
I'm taking pictures. You know, I like the white passport, and I like as well that they're not overwhelming us with colors. You know, well, we
Yeah.
all want to see like a red one or like a BerryFlow blue with, you know, some cool tricked out frets. I mean, I like that they're keeping it concise. I'm still kind of iffy on, you know, the fact that they went all white bezel as well, a black bezel or a black, you know, digitizer rather on the device
white?
would have made it look really cool. Yeah,
You mean
so
like this area be black?
yeah, so that
Like
the
right next to the screen?
yeah, so the screen would look more end to end. It wouldn't be,
Okay.
of course, but it's an aesthetic thing, just like the Z30.
Oh, I see
They
what
went
you're
all white.
talking
They went all white on the Z30, you know. Yet on the Z10, the screen and digitizer are still black.
Okay. And can we also mention really quickly based off of this, a lot of people are wondering, will this be OLED, what is currently the Z30 and the Q10?
Right.
The answer to that question is probably not, because it would be extremely, extremely, extremely expensive to have a 1440 by 1440 OLED screen. It's just expensive screen. You know,
Yeah,
James can touch on that more.
That resolution at that pixel density is just insane for OLED. it's definitely doable. The panels are definitely out there, but I just don't see them putting that kind of money into it. They're gonna, especially for what they're trying to do. This device is going to be something for spreadsheets, for small text, for they want it to be a crisp, very bright screen so that you can see these documents that you're editing with very fine detail, and that's what they're going to be bringing with the LCD panel. I'm very excited for it overall. I want there to be a wireless charging model. I don't know whether that will be something they bring about, but just like no Verizon exclusive, and I'm down.
Yeah, absolutely. It was an odd thing for them to do.
I know Verizon bought all that up front, so it was like a deal. They're like, yeah, we're gonna buy this type of device and this and market it and sell it, and then we're not gonna buy any more type of thing, Could we get pictures of the flip cases?
Cases for the Passport are gonna look like when they come out. Manufacturers even gonna bother trying to develop cases for this?
Go to Crackberry.
The leather ones.
Go to Crackberry.
Pop-up number one. Yeah.
Damn.
And really quickly, LCD screens obviously means that lighter colors show up better rather than darker, and then you don't have the added benefit where, if you can see on the screen here, the pitch black here, the pixels would actually be turned off on your Z30 or Q10, but on an LCD you can't turn off individual pixels, which means that you're probably going to want to use a white theme, though dark theme would obviously look pretty nice. And then just try and imagine a white theme on your white Passport. I think that would look really, really nice. And then here are the other ones. The flip cases.
Gorgeous.
More down the page. Oh, there are more. Yeah.
And it does open to the left. Some were suspecting it would open down, like the Q10, but no, it does open to the left. And I really like the size of the what's it called? The Passport. I'm thinking the Windermere. The Passport essentially is just as tall as the Playbook, just as tall as the Z10. And screen-wise, it's about like half a Playbook. So it just looks like such a classy device. And with the leather cases on front, I mean, it really is starting to look like a Passport. Imagine if they sell a case with like a Passport like inscribed on the front, like the little insignia and everything. That'd be kind of cute.
Right, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. It looks very smart. When you look at it, the device next to the case, the leather case. And
do you notice this right here? It looks like you can have the case flipped, maybe open, and still take pictures or something. Like, it looks like there's a place for the lens. If it was closed, that doesn't really make any sense.
What if it's for the LED light so you could see through?
Oh, you're a genius. Yeah, that's what it is.
Alex was
here, like, wondering what is going on.
Alex was stumped.
Good call.
So, what do you guys think? See if we can get a picture up of one of these. I know a lot of the blogs posted it. The new stickers that we have in BBM. How do you guys like the steadiness? They're bringing 2 packs every week, every Thursday. They're like, all right, we got some new ones. Here you go. They must have these partnerships lined up to bring this content. I mean, I love the Pink Panther. I'm all about it.
I can testify to that, as James always sending me Pink Panther stickers.
You
no matter how complicated the question is, how deep the conversation is, Pink Panther always has the appropriate response.
There's so many good ones though. There are some really weird stickers as well. Like I don't even. There's some odd ones out there. Just saying.
I was pretty surprised that they put Duck Dynasty in there. Yeah, there are definitely some really, really weird. But I mean, I think it's cool to see, like, it was by A&E Television, so it's kind of like they're getting some bigger partners. At the very least, I think. I don't know. And I read somewhere else that I think BlackBerry gets, or no, I think this was just me thinking. BlackBerry probably gets 50% of the sale, seeing as when they sell their stickers by BlackBerry, they only charge you $1. So I'm assuming when they're charging you $2, half of that's going to go to the vendor and the other half is going to go to BlackBerry. I'm just assuming that. I have no idea. But makes sense, maybe, possibly. So here's Pink Panthers and then Paul Frank and Disney villains. But yeah, shooting them out pretty quickly.
My question, though, a couple things come up here, and it's just 2 things. On one end, as they keep pumping out these sticker packs, there's got to be a way now for people to search for sticker packs in the more streamlined.
Oh, it's a mess. It is a mess.
And then on the flip side, let's say you buy your sticker fiend and you buy 20 packs. going through them in real time
Mhm.
while you're having a BBM conversation, trying to find not only the sticker pack but the exact sticker that you want to use in the
Yep.
conversation in real time is uh,
There's a
pretty.
lot of problems with that. Yep. They should have like a little. I mean, there are other platforms that do this, so it's not like a mystery of how to solve it. Well, there's just a little logo icon that gives a, generic statement that this is going to be Duck Dynasty or, Pink Panther. And then also you need to be able to reorganize. I hate that some of the sticker packs I bought a while ago that I use the most, they're all the way at the end of the list, and I have to scroll through everything, and then allow you to disable some, say that you really don't use any, or they need to add some functionality, but I'm sure that's on the list of things to do.
Until then, buy away and enjoy.
Yeah. What else is here? James, did James peace out? I
I
was
think
wondering why it got so quiet.
he got frozen. He may have to sign back on.
I
As
think he
far as
just messaged me. You keep talking. His internet died.
okay. Well, as far as like the list of things we were going through, we went through the majority of them. What happened we spoke about? We already talked about a little
First
bit about
looking
the
at
library.
7 Digital. This is a quick one that we can go over. Not too much to
Yeah,
say about that.
you actually
Had an
had some
interesting
experience with
experience.
that by mistake.
So, yep. So 7 Digital, I read saying that you can transfer over your purchases from BlackBerry World to the Android 7 Digital app. So I went and I made a 7 Digital account, and then I went to try and go through the process, and then I read one comment that said, this is for the music, by the way, and I was like, I just made an account by accident because I don't have any music. I only have movies purchased. I think movies are by Rivio or Rovo, or I don't know how to
Yeah, I
pronounce
think
it
it's
or know
Robo.
the spelling. Yeah, so I, emailed 7 Digital, asked if they could delete my account, and they did. Just kind of a waste of time. But yeah, so people who are planning on doing this just know it's for music, and I guess I'm glad that they're giving this option. It's kind of a common sense thing, seeing as you essentially bought it from 7 Digital, you should be able to access it from 7 Digital's app store. So it's
Right.
just nothing too special, but at least they're going through the process, not
Okay,
letting it
cool.
just fall off. Um,
For clarification purposes, there is the word music in the 7 digital music
oh
migration.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Okay. So there's
yeah.
not any.
I'm gonna try and defend myself, but I don't know why I did that.
That happens. It happens. It
Yeah.
happens. Well, we pretty much covered everything. I know that James, he's fighting to get back on, and he wanted to do the contest,
Oh yeah.
the
Yeah.
lottery draw.
It would be nice
So
if we can we don't have any control. He has all the control, so this is just
yeah.
what else can we talk about? Um.
Well, I will be going to the Security Summit on Tuesday here in
Oh,
New
very
York
cool.
City. I know there's it's a great timely event. I think I'm going to be there with all the top guys from BlackBerry, and they're going to be covering again um, all the reasons why companies, enterprise, regulated, everyone should consider BlackBerry as their go-to for MDM, and there is going to be afterwards, just like last time at the event that I did back in the spring, BlackBerry, what do you call it? Experience. That's what it
Oh,
was.
yep, yep, yep.
I wanted to say Jam, but they got
Yeah,
rid of
sadly.
BlackBerry Experience New York. Afterwards, I think it's about 3 hours presentation, and then afterwards they're gonna have open it up for questions, a little PR, address some of the questions that the media may have. So we're gonna be able to fire off some of the more challenging issues that BlackBerry seems to avoid.
Yep.
Personally, and I am interested in just two things. I did speak to James about it, and I doubt they answer it. But one of them is blends, where they are with that, and if there's more of a hard date for the launch.
Yeah, I think we're
Um,
all very excited for whatever comes of this.
and
Hope I don't know. We'll see.
yeah,
No reason to speculate on it. I guess.
there's so many speculations, different
Yeah.
features. The second will
Yep.
be where they are relationship-wise with Ford. because it's been rumored so
that they're
much that they're
leaving
going to be
Microsoft Sync.
switching,
And, yeah.
and everyone seems like it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm interested to see if BlackBerry could comment, if any, if the negotiations are still being worked out. What's taking so long for them to make that switch? Um, See if they can comment on that, because that'd be a huge. I mean, their stock will just pretty much
Yeah.
skyrocket after that one. So
Yeah, it is kind of funny. That was a rumor a while back, and to the point where people were just going around telling everyone, Microsoft is now, or Ford is now using QNX instead of Ford or
that's
Microsoft
right.
Sync
Matter
in
of
their
fact, I
car.
think there was a couple articles that were published, blogged articles that spoke about it being a done deal, and they had
Yep,
to
yep,
come
yep.
back and retract. Like, no, it's not a done deal. And I'm very curious to see where they stand. If that's really going to happen, what's taking so long, et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera. But if you were
James,
going, what's up?
sorry, go on.
No, if you were here in New York, you're able to attend. What questions would you have for John Chan or Sims or any of those other guys, Marty?
Man, it's a difficult one because it's all, it's especially being a security based thing. I
Yep.
don't I'm not too familiar with like all the nitty-gritty details about, BlackBerry, but I'd just be interested in hearing more about Blend and how they're gonna integrate that within BES 10, BES 12, and what's going on with
Yeah.
that consumer side. Which I have a feeling they're not gonna talk much about consumer-oriented stuff there. If they do talk about Blend, I don't even know if they'll even really talk about consumer Blend.
Right.
So,
Yeah, because I did in the last BlackBerry experience, I did ask if there's going to be any consumer anything, and at that time they were just obviously focused on just enterprise, and it's great, establish your backbone and then expand from there.
yeah.
Outside of blends, I know that people are trying to see if there's going to be some sort of desktop for BBM, if there's going to be BBM integration with blends, how's that going to work? And we got some teaser screenshots a while back, and it's one of those they've been holding their cards close to their chest on this one.
Yeah, it's something that we brought up a lot in previous, upstreams, that it seems like Blend is a natural progression of BlackBerry Link,
Mhm.
because, in the music app it said connect to BlackBerry